The stealth frigate Midnight Talon cut through the debris field like a shadow through smoke. Its hull, painted in void-black composite armor, absorbed every photon that dared touch its surface. Inside, Captain Zrel of the Krovathi Syndicate watched his view screen with predatory satisfaction. Scanning complete, his second officer hissed through mandibles that clicked with excitement. One human vessel. Minimal armament. Life signs 2. Zrel's 3 eyes narrowed. Humans were rare this far into the outer reach, and rare meant valuable. The black markets of Terminus Station paid astronomical sums for human specimens. Their unusual biology made them prized subjects for research. Entertainment, or worse. Disable and board, Zrel commanded. The electromagnetic pulse hit Cadet Lyra Voss's scout ship without warning. Systems died instantly. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing the cramped cockpit in crimson. Lyra's hands flew across the dead console, muscle memory driving her through reboot protocols even as her mind screamed that it was already too late. "Brack!" she called out, her voice tight with controlled panic. From the cargo bay came a low, rumbling growl that seemed to vibrate through the ship's bulkheads. Brack, her Wolverine companion, had been sleeping when the attack hit. Now he was very much awake. Lyra had found Brack as a cub on Earth, orphaned by habitat destruction. Their bond had formed instantly, inexplicably. When she joined the Exploration Corps, the command had tried to separate them. They'd tried once. The carnage in the administrative office had convinced them to make an exception to the no pets policy. Brack wasn't a pet. He was family. The docking clamp seized Lyra's ship with metallic finality. She heard the cutting torches beginning their work on the airlock. Her hand moved to her sidearm, then hesitated. She was one cadet with a pistol against what her sensors had shown before they died, a vessel 50 times her size. The airlock exploded inward. Krovathi warriors poured through, their segmented armor clattering, plasma rifles raised. They were insectoid nightmares standing 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and mandibles that could crush steel. "Don't move. Human," Zrel commanded as he stepped aboard, his translator rendering his clicks into standard. His middle eye fixed on Lyra while the other 2 scanned for threats. "You are now property of the Krovathi Syndicate. Resist and die. Comply and merely suffer." Lyra's jaw clenched. Her hand was still inches from her weapon. "I wouldn't," Zrel said, gesturing. 2 of his warriors seized her arms, lifting her off the deck. Her pistol clattered to the floor. That's when they heard it. A sound that didn't belong in space. A sound that belonged to Earth's ancient forests. To territories defended with tooth and claw, to a species that had never learned the meaning of surrender. Brack's roar shook the ship. The cargo bay door didn't open. It exploded outward as 40 pounds of pure fury and muscle launched through it. Brack was a blur of dark fur and flashing teeth, moving faster than the Krovathi's compound eyes could track. The first warrior didn't even have time to scream. Brack hit him like a missile, jaws clamping onto the softer joint where his thorax met his head. The crunch was audible even over the chaos. The warrior's plasma rifle discharged into the ceiling as he fell. "What?" Zrel's shock lasted exactly 1 second before Brack was already on his second victim. Wolverines, Lyra had once explained to her incredulous instructors, were not large animals. But pound for pound, they were among Earth's most ferocious predators. They'd been known to drive bears from kills. They'd been recorded fighting wolves, cougars, even humans when cornered. Their scientific name, gulo gulo, meant glutton, not for their appetite for food, but for their appetite for battle, and Brack had just watched his human get captured. The third warrior managed to bring his rifle around. Brack twisted in midair, a maneuver that should have been impossible, and the plasma bolt seared past him. He landed on the warrior's faceplate, claws digging into armor seams, teeth finding the vulnerable sensor cluster. The warrior flailed, smashing himself against the bulkhead, trying to dislodge the enraged animal. "Shoot it! Shoot it!" Zrel shrieked, but Brack was never where their weapons pointed. He flowed like liquid death, impossibly fast, impossibly vicious. A 4th warrior went down, his leg tendons severed. A 5th lost his primary arms. The 2 holding Lyra released her, reaching for their weapons. It was the last mistake they made. Lyra grabbed her fallen pistol and put a round through each of their sensor arrays at point-blank range. Zrel backed toward the airlock, his bravado evaporating. "The human... You bonded with a demon." "No," Lyra said, advancing with Brack now at her side, his muzzle dark with alien blood. I bonded with a Wolverine. On Earth we have a saying, don't poke the bear. But there's another one we should have taught you. Brack's growl deepened, a sound that promised only one ending. Don't touch the human. Zrel turned and ran. Brack was faster. 3 hours later, Lyra sat in the command chair of the Midnight Talon, its systems now slaved to her command codes. The Krovathi crew that had survived Brack's rampage was secured in their own brig. She'd already sent a distress signal to the nearest Corps outpost. Brack lay at her feet, cleaning his fur with the methodical care of a creature who'd just completed a satisfying day's work. His small dark eyes occasionally flicked up to her, always checking that she was safe. Lyra reached down and scratched behind his ears. Good boy, Brack, very good boy. The Wolverine made a contented churring sound. When the rescue ship arrived 6 hours later, its captain took one look at the scene. The captured predator vessel, the terrified alien prisoners, the single human cadet, and the small, furry animal at her feet, and could only shake his head. Let me guess, he said. They threatened you? They made a mistake, Lyra replied, her hand resting on Brack's head. They assumed I was alone. The captain glanced at the Wolverine, who yawned, displaying impressive teeth. Cadet, I think you just reminded the galaxy why humans are never truly alone. And why that's terrifying. Brack's tail twitched in what might have been satisfaction. The galaxy would learn. Humanity didn't conquer through size or strength alone. They conquered through bonds, with each other, with their world, and with creatures who would tear apart starships to protect them. The predators had learned that lesson. They wouldn't forget.